Hello, amazing people. Welcome back to the Live to Inspire podcast. Yours truly, as always, Dave Coleman. And today I wanted to discuss the word, or the topic, I should say, of perspectives. It kind of came to light for me personally over the last, don't know really, year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, don't know. With a lot of events that have happened in my life, from sporting events, professional events, career events, academic events, all sorts of things happen to myself, and I guess to you guys as well. And I briefly touched on it previously with something someone asked me, which was, how do you see yourself versus how do other people see yourself? So that's effectively what got me thinking about, what is perspective? What are we talking about here? So a perspective, by definition, as always a good place to start, is a particular attitude towards or a way of regarding something, i.e. it's something's point of view. So a particular perspective is a way of thinking about something, especially one that is influenced by your beliefs and or by your experiences. So again, that really gets me thinking, and it sort of opens my eyes a little bit as to what events have happened, what experiences have I had that have influenced my perspective. And these perspectives can be, like I said, on a range of things, a range of events, a range of topics, a range of views, and they can either be positive or negative perspectives. So that is something we need to bear in mind as we go through this. These events and experiences provide us with a deeper connection and understanding of ourselves, right? So for me, I was always taught that there are three of the biggest challenges that we face in life are buying a house, marriage, and the death of a loved one. So that could be a family member, whatever, don't want to dwell on it. And how these life events or experiences can impact us, how we learn from them, how they can be either positive or negative experiences. Those things can then change our perspectives or our points of views. So the link between these life events and health-related issues, including things like stress, sleep, and body weight, is crystal clear, really. So, like I said, events involving family and friends and recreational time are really, really important to our own well-being, to our own happiness, to our own mental and physical health. But their impact is wide-ranging. So again, it can be negative, or it can have a negative impact on our perspectives if there is such things as death of a loved one. So positive events are linked to a really, really strong increase in life satisfaction. So if you experience an event and it is a positive one, you have positive perspectives, and that then perpetuates into that positive life satisfaction. You feel good about yourselves, right? Because as I mentioned in, can't remember what episode it was, about happiness, release endorphins, oxytocin, dopamine, all those factors. And again, however, if there is a negative perspective of an event, it has a strong decrease in life satisfaction. So it is well worth thinking, and again, I want to go into this in a bit more detail, as to how we perceive certain events. So life events have a very, very individual self-concept, okay? So some life events might change an individual's understanding of themselves, and the behaviours may get changed as well, which makes sense, right? The biggest time in which life events can have an impact on our behaviours and our perspectives is when we are children. So, for example, starting school might be a positive experience for some children, but also can be negative. As we know, there can be bullies, there can be etc., loads of things and loads of factors that can alter our behaviour and our perspective of that event, which then obviously then changes our behaviour. So how the events are managed, and I mean environmentally, externally, it could be positive reinforcement, it could be praise from teachers, from parents, from colleagues, other students, other friends, those kind of things. Obviously, it's going to build you up and it turns into a positive experience, changes your perspective on school and the whole purpose of it. And again, flip it on its head, you know where I'm going with that. But the main factor is that, like I said, it can have a really, really huge impact on our later lives. So what I believe personally, again, it's my own view. If you think I'm wrong, fantastic. Please call me out on it or let me know what your views are. The key to understanding perspectives and mindset is if you know the root cause of that event that elicited a change in behaviour or perspectives, because then that opens us up to effectively a level of self-awareness to what happened, why those events then created the sort of domino effect later on in life as to why we change our behaviours, why we view things the way we do, how we treat other people, how we treat ourselves, associations with various things. So if we can understand and effectively reverse engineer the process back down to understand where that or what the root cause of our current behaviour is, effectively, that I think is effectively the key to the padlock, really. So especially in the current global climate, it's really, really important, and I think a lot of people will struggle to do this as much as they may admit to trying to do it. I think a lot of people struggle to do it, is to be able to consider the alternative perspectives. That is that other people around you may or may not have had similar or different life events to you. And also, not to mention what they're currently going through, you have absolutely no idea. So if you can, it's the old cliche, isn't it, that there's two sides to every story. We have a level of prejudice, of prejudgeness, if that's a word, sorry, as to how we interpret information, how we interpret events based on, like I said, life events and experiences. Other people may not have had those, so their perspective may be completely different. And if you are able to understand, not necessarily accept, but understand and take on board their perspectives and why they view certain factors the way they do, what the sort of rationale behind things are, then it will empower you as a person because you're gaining more knowledge. Jordan Peterson, in one of his books, I think it's 12 Rules for Success, I think one of the chapters is something titled something along the lines of always assume someone you're talking to or the person you're talking to knows more than you. And it's a really interesting concept, and you can always learn something from someone, right? Like whatever their perspective is, whatever their knowledge, their experiences, you can learn from it. There's people people I've met out here in Bahrain, they've introduced me to new islands, new locations, new experiences, new beaches. I've seen wild flamingos, amazing, which isn't something I would have done before. So there are other people around you that will know more than you. In fact, the chances are potentially everyone could know more than you because they haven't had those life experiences. So it's worth taking on board that there could well be an alternative perspective. And before you jump to any sort of conclusions, assumptions, prejudgment, about that person or the situation or the event, it's well worth considering. Actually, stop there a minute. There could be another perspective. There could be another reason for that. So it's a skill. I do believe it is a skill. And again, it takes a lot of time and repetition and practice to develop that skill. Sorry, just checking my notes here. Being aware of how we are in situations can be key to understanding the events and lessons that we can take from it. Again, referring back to what I was saying about being in school, if it's a positive perspective or a negative one, it's difficult to be aware of how you are in that situation because you're a child, and respectfully, you don't really have that emotional quotient or mindset as a child at a young age to be able to reflect on how you are in that situation. So I heard so I was reading a book, and it said about one of Bruce Lee's mindsets was about be like water. Where you can, be like water. It's a very interesting concept, very transferable, and has a lot of different understandings and applications, I think. So water, right? It flows. It will always take the easiest possible route or the shortest possible route. That's an interesting one. But water can be strong. It can be quite dense. It can be quite heavy. It is resilient. If you've got a big, swimming pool of water and you try and push it, the chances are it's probably not going to go anywhere because it weighs quite a lot. But when you try and swim in it, you go with the flow. See where I'm going with it? So that water can become very malleable. You stick it in any shape, it goes to that shape. It can, I've thought about this, cope with a range of situations such as very, very hot to very, very cold. Obviously, like we do as humans, it will react and will behave differently in those circumstances. But given the right environment, it is able to settle and stay calm and be still. It can be very peaceful and relaxing. So again, how we have a spectrum from very, very hot to very, very cold. We could be very angry, very sad, very happy. I don't know what the opposite of one of, whatever. So it's a really interesting way of thinking from Bruce Lee, be like water. And if you do ever find yourself, shall we say, in the zone, just go with it. Go with the flow, stay in the zone, embrace it. And only after you feel like you have come out of the zone, reflect on it. And by reflecting on it, it's weird to say, but if you can envisage you, or you looking at you in that event, in that experience, be that person outside looking in, and to see how you are, what your behaviours are like, what's going on around you. Because I confess I did it earlier. I was at the beach, I was fully in the zone. I didn't plan to be, it just happened. And a sort of 20-minute, half an hour drive home, and I left my shoes at the beach. I drove home in bare feet. Didn't even realise until I got out the car to come into the flat, and I'd completely forgotten my shoes. So I was fully in the zone, and then I reflected as to why did that happen? Why did I forget my shoes, or what happened there? And it was because I was so in the zone. I was so, I don't really want to use a state of euphoria, but happy and content that, the sun's shining, the sea was really warm, around some really, really nice people. Very, very positive experience for me today. And I just had time to be able to reflect on events, shall we say, and understand my perspective as well as other people's perspectives. So that really detached my cognition from immediate as to what am I doing next, where am I going, what's happening, what's on the to-do list, to actually I'm just in the zone, just very grateful, very happy, and yeah, just in the flow. So the sort of take-home points really are: how do you see yourself versus how other people see you? Obviously, you are by right entitled to your own perspectives because they are the outcome of your experiences and beliefs that you have been through in life events. However, please try to bear in mind other people's perspectives. Other people may have been through different events, and they may not be of the same mindset or critical thinking, shall we say, of yourself. So, as always, we will get there, if not immediately, eventually. Stay strong, keep being awesome.